Hello everyone and welcome to the AzireVPN office. So we are saying hello to you from Stockholm. This is basically the staging area, or you can say like the storage room that we have for AzireVPN here in Stockholm office. I am Dart, the marketing manager of AzireVPN, and here today we have Georgic.
Hi, I'm Georgic. I'm one of the developers at Azire. Also, I prep the servers and such for the data centers.
All right.
Hello, I'm Tobias, co-founder of AzireVPN.
So basically we are here today for our next live stream, and the plan for today is basically that we're going to go through a couple of technical updates and roadmap, so all the things that we didn't really have time to talk about in our last live stream. We will also reveal a bunch of new exciting server locations that will come live very, very soon. So I think that we will start with the roadmap questions. So these will be questions both, for you and for you mainly. Yes. So like the first thing to address is like something that we already promised to address in 2024. So we had a plan and a goal to make all of our servers 10G. Basically we are striving to have all of our server infrastructure as much as possible to be basically like 10G servers. But maybe Tobias, you can comment a little bit about like what is our progress on that.
Yeah. So the progress is that we have upgraded all servers that's currently possible to upgrade. There are still a few servers that we are not able to upgrade because the provider we are using doesn't have any 10G ports available for us. So the plan is for the last few locations still on 1G, we will choose to change to another provider that can provide us with 10G ports. And also all new servers, all new locations, all of them are launched with 10G. It's from now on a requirement from our side.
Great. Yes. Do you have anything to add, maybe?
No, he's right. We've sort of hit a ceiling on what we can do from here, from a distance. So we're gonna look into different providers. So, yeah.
All right. Then moving on, basically we have a bunch of updates that we were talking about in our previous live streams that are planned for right now, so for Q1 in 2025. So Georgic, maybe you can comment a little bit more about the Linux app.
So we mentioned, I think was the last live stream as well, that we were gonna look into developing a GUI, a graphical interface for Linux operating systems. So we're looking into it. It's still not done yet. We are currently expanding the amount of locations and data centers we have. So that right now kind of takes priority. But once we're done with that, we're gonna start looking into the Linux app and essentially unify all the different platforms. So we have GUIs and apps on all of them. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I feel like Linux is something that we have heard a lot of our users ask questions about. So yeah, that's good to know. Good news. Then moving on, the next question was about pre-shared keys, which kind of like goes together with quantum encryption.
Yeah.
Again, Georgiak, maybe you can comment a little bit about that.
Yes, so it's not really implemented yet on our backend side on the servers. We're looking into it, we're still developing it, it's not really done. So when we've tested everything, validated that it all works well, good and well, we're probably going to introduce a way to do it from the website as well as on the apps. So we're going to essentially roll them out one after another once it's done. So the comp files, you will maybe be able to add to the comp files some field for pre-shared key, so you can use on other applications or maybe terminal apps and so on.
Okay. All right, then the next one we had was double hop.
Yeah, that's also one of the features we have talked about. We're still expanding to multiple locations, so we're still prioritizing that. But once we're finished with that, we're gonna start ticking all of these boxes one after each other. So it's still not, we have already kind of figured out our game plan on that. So we're gonna probably just have to implement it moving forward.
All right. Yeah. That makes sense. I see that we have received a couple of questions here from the audience. So I just wanted to say, feel free to ask all of your questions, and we'll try our best to get to all of them at the end of the video. But yeah, moving on. So one more thing that we had talked about for Q1 for 2025 is something called shadow socks, which is also something that has come up recently. So maybe you can comment a little bit more about.
Again, that's also a feature we talked about. It's we're looking into that as well. It sort of goes into hand in hand with we're gonna shut down the OpenVPN part of the service March 15th, I think it was. Yeah, so some users have discussed that and asked us, well, in some cases, WireGuard doesn't really work. We have to use something like OpenVPN, and hopefully this will remedy that you can use shadow socks with WireGuard to help you obfuscate a little of what kind of traffic you're using or moving on your devices. So
yeah, exactly. That's a good point. We will talk a little bit more about OpenVPN support ending on March 15th, because we did receive a few questions, so we'll definitely get to that later in the video as well. So now, basically we wanted to also address like the new server locations, because this is something that people are always asking us about, and like asking what are the next and upcoming locations. So since we'll have quite a lot of server locations coming up, then we will address it like separately. We'll have a section for all the servers that are coming up. Also now in Q1, so just now in February and also in March. But one more thing that I wanted to briefly touch on for 2025 in general was external audits. So basically, we have been talking about doing external audits. So maybe Tobias, you can comment a little bit more about,
Sure. So in short, yes, we do plan to do an external audit, and we plan to do it during the summer. We plan to audit the clients and also backend infrastructure. And it's currently in the planning process.
all right.
So it's gonna happen.
Very good news. So I was thinking that now we can basically briefly touch on all the server locations. So we have a bunch of exciting new locations coming up, and you might already have noticed that we have basically launched like 2 new locations this year, and actually there's one new location that we launched just today. So the first location we launched was Tokyo, Japan. So this was one of our first servers the first server in Japan, and I think the 4th server that we have in Asia. Yeah, it's a very nice location to have and to add to our list of locations. Besides that, we also have launched a server in Sydney, Australia. So you may have noticed we published a blog post, and here on the screen you can also see like these are the actual pictures from the location. So the servers that were deployed in Sydney, Australia, which is also a great milestone for us because this is like our first ever server that we have launched in Australia. So we're very happy to be expanding our network of servers and adding new locations. And then one new location that we launched just today, just a few hours ago, so those who are using AzireVPN app might have already noticed it. So we have added Calgary, Canada to our list of servers. So this is also now available on all Azire apps. So here you can also see the pictures from the location, and we'll be sure to post this also on our blog together with all the technical specifications of what kind of servers those are and yeah, all the other details. But now moving on to new locations that we are planning to launch. So we have a bunch of new exciting locations that are coming very soon. So already in February and March. So I thought that we would just go through it continent by continent. We will start with North America and US. So a little bit about US servers. Yeah, I don't know if you or Tobias, which one of you wants to take this?
I can probably say the multiple locations. So it's we have now essentially sent multiple servers to these locations. So it's Los Angeles, San Francisco, which we already had, I believe. We added capacity to that area, so we have more servers. We have Atlanta, Salt Lake City, Boston, Denver, Houston, Phoenix, Ashburn, Raleigh, Chicago, Dallas, New York. And New York will get an upgrade. Essentially, yeah.
We can also mention that LA and New York, the New York upgrade will get 20 gig per server.
20 gig.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. So moving on, so that was basically all the servers in the US. So what else we have in North America? So we have two servers added here, or two locations added here. So we have Montreal and Vancouver. Tobias, maybe you want to comment on this?
Yeah, actually we published Montreal today as well. So if you refresh the app, you will see it in the list. Together with Calgary, that's also new. Vancouver will happen in a week or two, maybe.
All right. So moving on, what else do we have in North America? So we have a new server being launched in Querétaro, Mexico. So this is our first server in Mexico. So we haven't really had anything in that region so far. So yeah, basically we're very happy to be getting a new location there as well. And then moving on further to South America, we have actually several locations that are launched, that we're launching in South America. Georgia, do you want to go into?
So we already had Buenos Aires, Argentina. So 3 or more are coming this year. So it's Sao Paulo, Brazil, Santiago, Chile, and Bogota, Colombia. So it's the 3 new places, yeah.
Awesome. Then moving on, so this was South America, then going back to the basically continent of Australia and Oceania. So besides like Sydney servers, like what else are we launching there?
Yeah, so we're launching Melbourne, Australia, in the coming week, and Auckland, New Zealand, in I would say 1-2 weeks. So, yeah.
Right.
So Asia, we are also adding Tel Aviv, Israel, and we're adding Osaka in Japan, together with Tokyo that we already published. And we're adding Bangkok in Thailand.
Yeah, additionally to the Rawai server
Yeah.
that we already had in Thailand.
Exactly.
So basically, yeah, thanks. So basically, the servers that we have had in Asia so far, we have Rawai in Thailand, we have Singapore and also Hong Kong, and now we recently launched Tokyo, Japan. So yeah, we are basically more than doubling the servers that we have, or the locations that we have in Asia this year. Next, we are actually also launching a server in Johannesburg in South Africa. So this is also our first ever location in the continent of Africa, which is also something that people were writing to us and asking about. So we're very happy to be launching this location as well. And then moving forwards, there's quite a lot of locations in Europe. So starting with these ones, maybe Georgia, you can run us through.
Speed these through.
Yeah.
So it's Vienna, Austria, Brussels, Belgium, Tallinn, Estonia, Düsseldorf in Germany. We already had Berlin and Frankfurt over there, so we're adding a third location. Dublin in Ireland, Prague in Czech Republic, Athens in Greece. Palermo in Italy, Warsaw in Poland, Lisbon in Portugal, Manchester and Glasgow in the UK, and Barcelona in Spain, where we also have 2 current locations, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so it's the third one there as well. Yes.
All right. Yeah, we can come back to the studio view. So basically, yeah, we have quite a lot of new server locations that we are working on, and all of these servers that we're launching are going to be like the same standard of quality that we have launched servers before. So as we mentioned, like they're going to be 10G, so like the speed and latency will be very, very good. They're all diskless, PXE booted, right? Yeah, so we have like all the things. Yeah, you can actually see a bunch of these servers here in the room. Like we have servers here on the background. These are actually some of the servers that have arrived to our office. So we are basically prepping them here in the AzireVPN like headquarters, you can say, and we are doing a bunch of stuff with the servers. And actually, next week we're going to launch a new video where we will guide you through like what exactly is this like setup process. So basically, we're going to go through the server's journey of like what happens once they arrive here at AzireVPN office and how we prepare them before they are shipped off to different locations. But yeah, so basically now we thought that we would move on to the Q&A section of this video. So we will start with all the questions were already sent in to us before. So when we announced this video, and also actually before we did our Christmas live stream, we received a bunch of questions that are more like technical questions. And since we were talking about like more like bigger picture stuff, like in the last video, we thought that we would focus in this video more on the technical updates. So I will just read through the questions that were sent in, and then you guys can help me answer them. So the first question, so this is somebody who asked us if someone does not pay with crypto and uses PayPal or credit card, what kind of information do you store and for how long? And how is this connection between payment records and user accounts managed? So I think that Tobias, you can maybe take this one.
Yeah. Right. So we do store a payment ID that we use connecting it to the user to be able to handle the payment status, to know when it's getting paid, to add the time to the account, and also to be able to handle refunds. We'll delete this connection after 6 months, and we also need it for accounting purpose. We do not store any card information, so stuff like that, and everything should be included in the privacy policy. You can check there for more details.
All right. Yeah, that's basically, yeah, it's a short answer. That's it. That's all the information that we collect. Then next question. So this is about the pre-shared keys for WireGuard. So this is something we already mentioned in the roadmap, but basically this is somebody who sent in a question about is there a way to use it today with conf files, or is it coming with the next update?
Yeah, so as mentioned previously, it's not a possibility to use it. We still have to implement it on our side, and then eventually we will roll it out to all the clients, and it will take a while.
All right.
Till then,
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So the next section of questions is regarding OpenVPN. So some days ago, we announced on our blog and also on social media that we are basically stopping the support for OpenVPN starting from March 15th. So basically, we have a bunch of questions that people sent in regarding this topic. So somebody commented on Mastodon that it's interesting to see that quite a lot of providers seem to be dropping OpenVPN support, though it makes sense for AzireVPN to do it since you were one of the first VPN companies to adapt WireGuard. However, one thing I've heard a lot is that WireGuard is easier to block in censored countries, for example, China and some other places. So OpenVPN over TCP has often worked in these countries while WireGuard hasn't. And do you have any plans on fighting censorship? And could this be a point to bring up in the live stream? So that's a very good question. And I hope that Georgiak, you can help to answer this one.
That's a great question. So since we've joined forces with Malwarebytes, we're expanding our team. We're also getting more resources and capital to develop new features. So stuff like DNS blocking and pre-shared keys, we're gonna implement them incrementally as we go on. So those two are the most requested ones, essentially like for emails and chats and so on. So we're hoping to implement all of those to essentially help all the customers with their privacy issues across the globe.
Right. Is this also where the shadow socks thing comes in?
Yeah, so that's also one other thing. So they mentioned in the question that OpenVPN with TCP has worked sometimes. Since we're dropping support for OpenVPN, we're gonna start to introduce stuff like shadow sockets and so on. So that's gonna help hide away what kind of traffic you're using when you're using WireGuard. So it's harder for them to detect if it's through websites, regular websites, or if it's the WireGuard protocol itself or anything like that. So it's going to be harder for them to detect anything. Yeah.
All right, awesome. And then we also received a question. So does the end of OpenVPN support mean that the servers themselves are being unplugged, and at what date?
So OpenVPN will stop working on March 15th. And the servers themselves won't be unplugged. What will essentially happen is we'll slowly move them towards WireGuard instead. So we're going to add capacity as WireGuard servers.
Yeah, and I think that like WireGuard has so many advantages on like over OpenVPN. So maybe you can briefly explain like what is the difference?
Yeah, so it's lightweight, it's faster, it's a more modern protocol. It's easier to implement on multiple devices. So if you have embedded devices, for example, that's also easier to use there. So I would say across the board, it's a faster and more secure way to encrypt your data.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. And also just to mention that all of our like AzireVPN clients already run on WireGuard. So like the cases of people using OpenVPN is like either through some other apps or router or something like that. So hopefully this will not impact many users in a major way. All right. So then we also received a question, an interesting question that's sorry. So I will just go up here. So which country has the strictest privacy laws amongst AzireVPN server locations? Yeah, maybe you want to
I can
comment.
start, yeah. So from our point of view, all locations has the same no login policy. So it shouldn't matter which one you're using. There are still no logs in any country. But to answer your question, I think Darta did some research. So
Yeah, I can comment briefly on that. So first of all, yeah, like everybody knows now that we are a part of Malwarebytes. Like basically, we are a US-based company, so we do have to follow the US laws. However, it doesn't mean that we operate solely under the US laws because AzireVPN is based in Sweden, and also we have servers around the world. So this means that all the applicable laws in all the locations also apply to all the servers that we have. And that's kind of like, that's a very common practice for VPN providers, like a multi-jurisdictional compliance standards. And no matter the location, of course, like if the authorities come, they will not find any data. So that's basically how we have built our server infrastructure, because we have like blind operator, we have strict no logs policy. So that means that we don't store any type of like user activity. So even if the police comes, there's nothing to share. So even if we're legally required to share something, there's no data to share with anybody. But I looked also into a little bit of like which of the countries where we do have servers have some of the strictest privacy laws. So there was an interesting article I found from the Stevens Institute of Technology that basically ranked countries based on the internet privacy and freedom. So there were 8 different categories how they basically looked at those countries. And looking at those countries, basically the number 1 country was actually Estonia. So we're happy to announce that we are going to be launching a server in Tallinn and in Estonia. So that's like one of the most privacy focused and privacy friendly locations in that sense. Other countries that were very close, high up there, were Canada. So in Canada we're going to have multiple locations, I believe 4 locations with the new servers. So we have Toronto, Montreal, Calgary, and Vancouver. And then we have in the 3rd place, also very, very closely following up, are 3 countries. There's Germany, Japan, and South Africa. So all of these also, we have servers either already there or they will be launched very, very soon, as in the case of Africa. So we have Johannesburg, we have Tokyo in Japan, and we have 3 different server locations in Germany. So we have Frankfurt, we have Berlin, and now we're launching Düsseldorf. So those are all the locations that, basically we will launch. So yeah, that's the answer to, and those are the answers to all the questions that we received that you guys sent in. And I see that we have also received a few questions in our live chat, so maybe we can look through those as well. So I will just read these questions out loud so you can hear them too. So first of all, we have Benjo asking, will you release something similar to Malvad data, same sized packets? I don't know if that is something that,
So we have been looking into it, and we believe it's a good thing they're doing, and we will probably implement something similar, but there is no time now exactly for it yet.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's an interesting question to bring up in either case. And then we have the second question: will double hop come, and even downloadable double hop like Proton VPN secure core, so you can put it on router? So I guess this is also.
I'm not really sure what he's.
So double hop is something that we were talking about.
But I'm not really sure what he's referring to. If it's he wants to use it on routers or. Oh, you mean if it's? Okay, I get it. So if you can implement on something like a router or something, well, we're not really sure. We're gonna focus mainly on the clients, I believe, first, and then we will see from there if it's possible to extend that outside of that. yes, multi-hop again. It's something we have planned, but it's not really. We don't really have a date for it yet.
All right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
We can also mention that double hop is possible with using the SOX servers. This one kind of double hop. But the real double hop or multi hop thing we are gonna implement is WireGuard to WireGuards.
Ah, okej. Om jag tror inte det är han frågar, men okej.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So those are all the questions that we received. And if you have any other questions, feel free to just write them in the chat, and we'll get to them. But yeah, it seems like those are all the questions that people basically sent in to us. So yeah, this turned out to be a quicker update than I expected. But yeah, like this is basically, there's a lot of exciting new things coming to AzireVPN. We have a lot of new server locations being launched, along with all the new other technical updates that we have. Is there anything else that we want to mention, or yeah?
Not really. We're coming a lot more places, like a lot more location capacity. So we're going full steam ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, then thank you everyone for tuning in. We hope that this was an interesting update for you guys, and stay tuned for all the new servers and also for the server journey video that will come next week. Other than that, yeah, that's it for today. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Bye from Stockholm.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.